Give us the launch codes. I'm Tom.
I'm Travis.
Before we start this great episode, just remember we're on all the socials. Come
Yep.
find us, follow, like, subscribe, click buttons, join Grinder.
hmm
And to start off, Travis, I got a fun little something before we get into this episode.
Oh, oh.
Are you ready?
hmm
So a few years ago, my little brother OD'd. Then about 4 months after that, my grief-stricken mother, she took her own life. You can imagine how hard that day was on me, my sister, and older brother when we found out we were not the favorite.
Just to be clear, I knew that Tom was telling a totally fictionalized joke because he does not have siblings, and your mother is very much alive.
And
um,
I'm not her favorite.
no, let's see. Just to warm us in. Okay. Have you watched anything good lately?
Yes. Uh, Nothing new, but
Okay,
because
all right.
my boys are into it, I've been rewatching it, but they've got introduced to the first three seasons of SpongeBob. And yes, I said it, the first three seasons
Mm,
of SpongeBob. And
okay.
I forgot how good it was. I forgot how well written the first three seasons are with the jokes and the layering and the double entendres and the drawings and oh my dude, there's just one line. Real quick, I'm sorry. It's just funny. There's this one thing where Squidward has to run the restaurant, the Krusty Krab, like a five-star restaurant. So he has Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob lined up, like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna give our orders, and you know how like that typical joke when someone's walking in a line back and forth, and then when they walk back, another person randomly appears in the line,
hmm
and he's like, "Patrick, what are you doing here? I heard the core could straighten me out, sir. The core? What the fuck are you talking about the core?" So it's just the random stuff Patrick would say is so funny, and I forgot that one joke of like, "I heard the core could straighten me out, sir."
Let's see. I saw Spider-Man Brand New Day in theaters. Um, and I haven't been following the
The
Marvel.
the first actual comic book movie and how long? God.
It was yeah, it's yeah, no, that was delightful. And as someone who's fallen off like the MCU for the most part, so I was just going then like, well, it's the new Spider-Man movie. I like Spider-Man.
Why
I got
not?
a ton of like if you wonder what all those comics are behind me, those Marvel comics, those are all Spider-Man. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. I think it's the best Tom Holland Spidey movie. Um, Even though it's also stealthily an X-Men prequel, which was also kind of genius. Anyway, that was great. House of the Dragon finished is all right. Um,
Sort up the ass.
yeah, I forgot. Okay, hit this
Oh, poltergeist, poltergeist.
fucking winds blowing through. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna like. Oh, there's a.
Pol-
You know what? Fuck it. I'll just roll with it. It's annoying.
Poltergeist in the
It's
house.
it's like the as if you're watching the video, like wind's blowing through my curtain, and so you're getting a lot of sunlight, a lot of white dead pixels there, and it annoys the hell out of me. But you probably don't mind. Um, yeah, yeah. So I watched that. I've been rewatching X-Men '97 because I just got Disney Plus back, and I really want to check
Nice.
out the new season. I'm very much. I just finished like my compendium of like or not compendium, like the first omnibus of the Chris Claremont run on X-Men, aka
Okay.
the most important run on X-Men ever. So I've got that in my mind.
Nice.
And then
Oh, oh, sorry.
yeah,
What else have you got watched?
I was just, well, it's just like that show goes pretty hard, and then I watched something else that also goes very hard. It's been something that you've been begging me to watch for years.
I know, and you finally did it. It took you like 10
And
years.
and if I, you know what happened was it dropped on Netflix. I saw it and I'm like, okay, well I know the next thing I'm watching now. Once it became like super convenient for me, I was like, there is no excuse. I am
Hey,
diving in.
before you say the title, I'm just curious if like you were on this like 3 episodes left of the series and Netflix dropped it, would you been like, oh come on?
No, chances are what I would have done is, well, because Netflix gives you a heads up for that sort of thing, I would have reoriented my free time to just wrap it up for your sake. I would have been like, all right, I'm setting aside like 3 hours on a Saturday. I'm gonna bang out all these three right before I record, give us the launch codes with Tom, and then that way close that book. And of course, that show was Southland. Uh,
Da-na, 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 na, na,
the
na, 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 na,
a gritty LAPD cop show. You've been begging me to watch it for a while. Um, so I guess we'll go into it. Southland is a cop show about LAPD cops. Which that could describe like 50 other shows, I'm sure. So let me specify and describe it as imagine the Shield, but if you remove the strike team characters.
Yeah.
You shoot it like the same way, but and you still got kind of that like the crass plots and funny encounters of the locals, but like you don't have Vic Mackey and his crew of gangsters with badges fucking everyone's shit up.
Or
You don't have that going on.
or hell, think of it as the rookie, but without the friends whole thing going on of like, yeah, we hang out at the coffee shop every day. We're all buddies.
Yeah, this on the network that brought you Grey's Anatomy. Here's the rookie. No, no. This is from executive producer John Wells. The actual creator is a screenwriter named Ann Biderman.
Yeah.
But the executive producer is John Wells, which I think is very important. If that name sounds familiar, it's because you probably stuck through the credits of The Pitt. Uh, as he is also an EP on that show. There's some similar DNA. He's also the executive producer, and he was also the executive producer of ER.
Yep.
And at one point, there's a certain ER comparison I'd like to make, particularly when we talk about the pilot. But it's basically like there okay. There's like four characters that you follow all the way through. Three of them are uniformed cops. Well, one of them becomes a uniformed cop halfway
Towards
through
the
the
end.
run of the show, and one of them's a murder detective who gets like different partners as the show goes on.
It's like
And
every
base,
season, yeah, has a new partner.
yeah, and the murder detective. First of all, she's played by Regina King, who's a fantastic actress. Has been in a lot of things. You might recognize her from that Watchmen miniseries that HBO did a while back. Um, she I feel like the purpose of her character is basically to give the episodes an actual through line. Because here's the thing, none of these like characters really interact or coalesce very much. It's like it's the show is essentially a series of vignettes where it's like the uniform cops are going out on their shift and they get in their cars and they're just responding to calls. And the calls are like just kind of bizarre incidents, you know? A
Keep
lot of
in
it
keep in mind they're all from real life events.
oh
Those are
yeah.
real cop calls.
You can tell and you can tell like they're just some like you can tell like these are the stories like when like the writers of the show obviously talk to like real police officers for research in this show. These stories were like the let me tell you about this one time.
This is how, and
And
also too, for you to know, Travis, the bulk of who they talked to was Long Beach and LAPD. And the thing about Long Beach is, I've heard from when I was in high school when it was in its run in high school. There's a few guys I was friends with who were in the Explorers program, and all of their TOs and other superiors would say, "Oh, that was my story. Oh, that was my call." And then the show got so realistic that they used scenes as training videos.
yeah, and just to emphasize the realism, the show has like again, comparing to the Shield, this is very much a mid 2000s show.
Yeah.
This has that, and if you remember a lot of dramas, and you know what, comedies did this too, thanks to The Office. A lot of shows in general in the mid 2000s had that like handheld docu-style look to them,
Hmm.
whether it was The Shield or fucking Battlestar Galactica has
Yeah.
that look too. And just kind of like, we're not gonna put the camera on sticks. We're gonna hold the camera down. We're gonna use snap zooms if we have to. There's a lot of scenes in Southland of like clearly the camera is like planted alongside of the car, and then they stop and they get out and they're able, like,
Pick it up. Yep.
whatever
Yeah.
rig they attach to that car, they're able to pluck the camera off and then move it seamlessly with with the cop actors as they're responding to a call, which is very fluid, very it adds a lot of energy, and also heavily emphasizes the location shooting. I think there's a lot more location shooting on this show than you see in your average TV show.
Oh God, yeah. This
I
is
think
all
maybe
like it's a guerrilla feel. It's so guerrilla.
like I think any time that they might be on a soundstage, it would probably be like either in somebody's house, like a main character's house, or at like their station,
I think
like
that
at the station,
I think
probably.
for Lydia's character played by Regina King, the detective station, that's I think the soundstage for sure.
Yeah.
The I honestly felt like for the other character, Sammy, because he's with the card like the gang unit, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's out there somewhere. I feel like that's pretty gnarly sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, and then I mean sometimes I'd watch because I've driven to LA a lot, and sometimes I watch the show and sometimes I go like, have I driven down that street before? um, yeah, and if you don't know LA, like Southland kind of refers to like it's like a area in LA that covers like Hollywood and kind of like
No,
stuff
that's South
stuff in the
LA and they call it Southland. Yeah.
there's actually kind of like interesting like it's almost like a nexus of like the rich and poor of Los Angeles because they'll also respond to calls with like some rich person's house and it's like a Hollywood producer or an actor or something, but then there's also calls which is like you know
In the
low in,
ghetto, in the
I was gonna
ghetto.
say low income neighborhoods where uh gangs and organized crime tend to fester, and it's very
What
sad
a
to see that.
what a tamed way to say that. See, there's no holds bar, especially when it first because the first season was NBC, then it went to TNT. But when it went to TNT, it got more like, all right, we're gonna show everything.
You can tell like when they were on NBC, but even like the first season of the NBC season, there's like you can tell they were just like, okay, we're gonna have them curse and do
Oh God,
things.
yeah.
We'll just censor it when we broadcast it. But but there was like you can tell that was part of it because that was something like broadcast networks were doing at the time. They were like, oh my God, like cable is where like the hard hitting stuff is. We need to try to make our stuff super gritty too.
Yes.
And eventually they stopped doing that because they're like, well, we got our audience, they got their audience, and also we own that network too. So
So
it's like
technically, they're doing both. Yeah.
we're not competing with each other. We're just
The way
catering to
the way all the murders have happened, no one's really competing.
and the stuff I like about Southland is like the uniform cop stuff. Because you don't see too much of that on TV shows. I guess like The Rookie would be like the one example, but like The Rookie is
It's just
I,
it's literally Friends, but cops.
yeah, or Grey's Anatomy but cops. Um and where and which there could be like I heard someone make this joke of like the first season of a show like The Rookie, you would just have like these people responding to regular calls or whatever. But then by season seven, the main character gets embroiled in some cartel conspiracy because they ran out of ideas. And Southland is not that kind of show. Southland
No,
very much maintains, that format
the
of like we're
format,
just day of the
yeah.
life kind of shit.
Well, the format it holds great, And the reason why I love this show is because this came out in 2009. And in 2009, a cop movie came out that I really love called Brooklyn's Finest. And the main like tagline of that movie was "This is 20 years of days," and that's what Southland did. Southland captured it perfectly.
That's
This
good.
is this is literally a clock in, clock out job, but because you're a cop, you will be taking this home. You will be like destroyed inside. You will be fried, and you will take a life, and your life may be taken too.
Makes me wonder if someone ever gave like my grandfather that speech because he eventually worked homicide and he never killed anybody.
I
That's
don't think
that's
so because that's a different part of the country. This is different.
maybe. I mean, Houston's still a city. It was like a
Yeah,
fastly
but
growing city back then
But
too.
remember, LA back in the 40s already had a strong gang mafia presence, and that just carried over with, different gangs, and it bled in more
Yeah.
and it did other things.
Actually, I wanted to talk that kind of segues to like the
Comparison?
ER comparison, particularly with the pilots. Because I noticed when I watched the Southland pilot, and I've watched ER front to back. Like I've watched the entire series, all 331 episodes of that show. And I noticed like the arc. There are two comparable characters between ER and Southland. And on Southland, it's the Ben McKenzie character. You might
Herman.
recognize him from the OC or Gotham. He plays Ben Sherman, Officer Sherman. He's the rookie. He's the rookie cop. He's the one that gets taken under the wing of Michael Cudlitz, who plays Officer Cooper, aka my number one reason for watching the show. He's like by far my favorite character there. Um, and the comparable character for ER would be Dr. John Carter, played by Noah Wiley, who you now probably know as Dr.
Yes, yeah.
Robbie on The Pit. In my head canon, they're the same character. He's just Dr. Robbie's Dr. Carter has is just now at the end of his rope. That's my head canon for The Pit. But anyway, but in rookie doctor, first day of his internship, that's what happens in the pilot. And both pilots take place over the course of a single day, of like a single shift job.
Yeah.
The pilot of ER is literally called 24 hours. So it's like this, it all takes place within one day of that emergency room. Both episodes have a scene kind of towards the end where like it just gets too much for the rookie character. And in ER, Dr. Carter, he's been through a lot. He sees like a gunshot wound that gets brought in, and he's under like a straight edge emergency surgical doctor resident named Dr. Benton, played by Eric LaSalle. And he's kind of like no nonsense, stay focused, we'll do the job. And at one point, like Carter sees the gunshot wound, he's like, excuse me, I gotta go. Like, I'm gonna be sick. And
Yeah.
Dr. Benton's just casually like, that's okay, we didn't need you anyway. Let's move along.
Yeah.
And the version of that in Southland is that they're tracking down like a gangbanger who shot a kid because he was like,
He's
a
black. He's a black
black
kid of
kid in a
Mexicans.
brown neighborhood. He's got to be from a rival gang. We got to shoot. It's that kind of thing. They track him down, and unfortunately, Sherman was forced into a position where he had to shoot and kill the banger. It's just pulled out a
Got it.
gun. I pull out my gun. It is what it is, and he is like on the corner. This is like the aftermath. He's sitting down. So we both have our rookie sitting down, stressed out, feeling overwhelmed. In the ER version, the not his mentor, Dr. Benton, but kind of the head of the ER, the head physician, Dr. Green, played by Anthony Edwards, not the basketball player Anthony Edwards, the goose from Top Gun Anthony Edwards. Uh,
Can you imagine?
I know every time I see Anthony Edwards being mentioned in like sports talk, I'm like, the actor? No, no, sorry, basketball player, different guy. Uh, so Dr. Green comes out and actually I'll read you the quote.
Oh,
I'll read
sweet.
you I'll read you because I got it on IMDb. I got both versions of the
Of the
scene.
quote. Hell yeah. I
So
was gonna.
here's how ER handles this. And I want and because I think this has implications for how the rookie character progresses on each show. Here's how this scene plays out. So like Dr. Carter, he's like, ugh, ugh. He's got his head down, he's got his stethoscope to his head, he's feeling overwhelmed. Dr. Green comes out, he tells him, I'm sorry, and Dr. Green says, don't ever say you're sorry. There's two different kinds of doctors. There's the kind that get rid of their feelings, and then there's the kind that keeps them. If you're going to keep your feelings, you're going to get sick from time to time. That's just how it works. Pause. Note the pauses, because it's not just what he says, it's how he says it. He's being calm, nurturing, not, trying to let him down easy, like a dad, which uh, canonically he is a father. He has a daughter on the show.
Oh,
Um, and then Dr. Green continues. Keep your head down. Pause. People come in here and they're sick and dying and bleeding and they need our help. Helping them is more important than how we feel. Pause. But it's still a pain in the ass sometimes, and that's like a moment of levity. Like, ah. Sometimes I just want to quit and do something else. Why don't you take a few more minutes? And then he walks away, and then he turns around and says, "By the way, when I was in medical school with Benton, Dr. Carter's mentor.
hmm.
He used to get sick all the time. So don't let him give you any crap. You'll be fine." Very nurturing, like, you got this. It's a first day, but you're gonna get through this. I believe in you. Let's see how Southland handles this version of the scene after fucking Cooper.
First of all,
First of
after
all, first of all, it's the cops, so they're not saving lives; they're killing people if they have
yeah,
to.
and here's the thing about for Sherman's setup. He put three in the center perfectly, like a rookie. That they make sure to show you that, and it does carry on in the next episode. But you watch a rookie put three in the center.
Yeah, yeah, and
That's
so
intense. That's a fucking intense thing to the reality.
yeah, and so this is like after the ambulance shows up. By the way, one of the reasons he had to kill this guy is because the guy shot another cop.
But no,
Or
and he's introduced as the asshole cop. Remember, I'm your
yeah,
superior officer. You do what I say. Move.
yeah, he explicitly tells the rookie to not pat him down because they don't have time, and that turns out to be a giant mistake.
Yep.
um, and so like Cooper's like he's having his overwhelmed moment. His TO or not Skier, sorry, Sherman's having his overwhelmed moment. His TO, Officer Cooper, Michael Cudlitz,
Comes in.
comes in. He says, uh, "You heard of Warner Brothers? This is Warner Brother. You don't lie. That's how they get you. Lying is worse than an out of policy shooting. You just tell it like it happened. You'll be fine. No big deal." And Sherman says, "Well, taking a life is a big deal to me." And Cooper, for this next sentence is my favorite sentence in the whole show. He says, "What the hell did you think the gun was for? Show and tell?" I love that. I love that so
Oh,
much.
oh, dude. Oh, the fact because remember, Sherman grabs his arm to tell him like this is a big deal, and like
Oh yeah,
Cooper,
he's in his face with
yeah,
like intense macho energy,
yeah, and he gets down on him too,
and
like
he's like,
literally.
yeah, because the line continue. His screed continues. Look, you'll get over it. All right, they'll send you to BSS. You'll do all that Buddhist. I love to revere all sentient beings crap, and then at O Dark 30, next time you're up, you will drag your weary, fried ass out of bed. You'll put on your gun and your vest, and you will do it all over again. You know why? Because this is a front seat to the greatest show on earth. Can you abuse it? Yes, sir, you can. And you will. I guarantee it. By the way, notice I'm not pausing because he
Yeah,
just rapid fires this, but he continues. Because it is relentless and it gets to you, and it seems like it changes nothing. But a day like today, with some interesting capers and a few good arrests,
yeah.
that's good. But every once in a while, when you get to take a bad guy off the streets for good, and that, my friend, is God's work. So now you want to be a pussy and quit? You quit. You're a cop because you don't know how not to be one. If you feel that way, you're a cop. If you don't, you're not. You decide.
And then he throws his report book right at him.
Yeah.
He literally shoves his own report book right into his face.
Now, Sherman, like any other show like this, you think Sherman's going to grow up and become a more veteran officer, and he's gonna be like, a paragon of morality type cop, and he's gonna learn, he's gonna be like an aspirational character, right?
And
Because
he'll
that's certainly
also
what.
and he'll also soften up his TO. He won't make him so grizzled anymore.
Yeah, yeah, or maybe he'll become a TO, and well, the show maybe didn't last long enough for us to see this, but maybe he'll become a TO and become a more nurturing mentor. That's what happened with Dr. Carter on ER. Eventually, Dr. Green leaves the show. Actually, the character, not the actor, the character dies of cancer, and it's really, really sad. But Carter will become the new Dr. Green. He runs the
Yep.
ER, and
Yep.
and he eventually gives the exact same speech that Dr. Green gave to him to another young doctor. So it's like there's some passing of the torch and going on with him, and Dr. Carter becomes an aspirational figure on the show, and in my head canon, then he moves to Pittsburgh, gets jaded, and eventually becomes at the end of his rope when he hits his 50s. um, Sherman does not go that way. Sherman becomes young little baby Officer Sherman becomes a bigger asshole as the show goes on. He sleeps around with a lot of women. He becomes increasingly more macho and morally gray. Um, Probably enforces the quote unquote blue line of silence more than any other character on that show. He does some pretty, and then he does some pretty like corrupt shit by the
No, he
end.
gets dark. It's funny how during season 4 and 5, you're just like this. Okay, who's more dangerous, Sherman or Dewey? Because Dewey's just quiet. Dewey's just boisterous. He's just all talk and fluff. Even though he will trust, you will trust him, you will need him. Dewey just likes to talk a lot. Sherman's quiet. If you notice, whenever he's sitting with cops at dinner or lunches or breakfast or coffees or groups, he's always the quiet one.
Yeah, there's almost like a twinge of Machiavelli in him, and you realize that his mentor Cooper, who stays on the show all the way through, like he's not an asshole. He's not. I mean, he can be if you piss him off, but he's like
He's a dick.
he's like yeah, but he's kind of like a passive dick where he's
Yeah.
like he if you get pulled over by him, he doesn't really want to arrest you if he doesn't have to.
No.
Like if he could let you off with a warning, he will because he has seen it all and he knows like which calls matter and which really don't. My favorite bit with Cooper is when they're in a mall
Oh yeah.
and they're going up an escalator and he sees like a dude like take like behind a woman, but it's an escalator going up, so he's like taking pictures with his phone under her skirt.
Yeah.
Really pervy stuff. And so they take this guy aside, and Cooper just breaks his phone and says, like, you could file a complaint about that, but then you're going to have to explain what you did, and that or either you are or I'm going to have to explain why I did what I did,
And
what
what's
I
on your
saw
phone?
you doing, what was on your phone. Yeah, exactly. And and instead he's just like, all right, I'll leave you be. Like he doesn't arrest the guy, he doesn't give him a ticket, he just breaks this phone. He gives like sort of poor man's justice there. And
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna leave you be.
No, he's
I've done God's work as far as I'm
he's
concerned.
done that a lot. Hell, remember there's two instances with kids that I remember the most. Two instances with kids. One
hmm
with the kid calling the cops on his own mother for child abuse, but she was really just disciplining him with a spanking. That was great, and I love that scene because they show up and the mom and woman opens the door and he's like, "Ma'am, hi, we got a call. Why about child abuse? What are you talking about? Like, did you call about a kid being abused or hit?" And the kid's like, "I did." Kid, who hit you? Like, and you think this, and the audience, like the two cops, are thinking, oh, the dad. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I
Yeah,
went
yeah.
to. But it's like, yeah, she hit me with the belt. And they look at her and she's like, what? And he's like, come here. Like, Cooper's like, separates him like a cop, separate him. Come here. What did she hit you with? A belt? How many times? 5 times. Where? On your butt. On your face, your arm, back of that. No, just on my butt. Why? Oh, because I was doing this and that. My friend said you have rights. And he's like, he just looks at the mom, hit him again. Hit him again. And I love that speech of like, you, how dare you call the cops on your mom? If that was my mom, you would have found me on the floor. Next time I come back here and I find out you're misbehaving, I'm gonna take off my very big belt and beat the fuck out of you myself. Get inside. And then remember, he hands the mom back her belt. Have a good day, ma'am. And then the second time, when they were driving down an alleyway for a crime scene, because it was one of the multiple dead hooker episodes.
Oh
The,
yeah.
the little
There's
kid
more
was
than one of
Oh,
those.
there's so many. But a little
Uh,
kid, a little, I like a 10-year-old kid was riding his bike next to him, pretending to be like, "Yo, what up, cops?" Blah blah blah. And then Cooper just stops him, grabs him, throws him against the car, and it goes like this: Why are you riding against my car? You trying to shoot me? You're trying to shoot me? No, sir. No, sir. Oh, look who found religion. And it's a 10-year-old kid. He's got like by the cuff of his shirt, and he scares like literally he scares straight. And then when that new rookie that only lasts like an episode is like this, that's a little hard on the kid. No, he's like this, dude. There's a dead body here, multiple shootings. For our sake, this kid won't show up tomorrow when there's more. So I'd rather have a live kid than a dead kid.
mhm.
Like there's some tough love. It's really Cooper
Yeah.
is tough street love.
And the twist with Cooper is that he like because he presents himself as like a
John
masculine,
Wayne. It's John
jaded,
Wayne.
yeah, he's gay.
Yeah.
And he's definitely like a gay character as you would have written him in like if you were trying to be like in the 2000s like I want to have a gay character but I don't want him to be obvious. I'm desperately trying to be an ally as a writer and show a nuanced depiction. He's like macho, you know, tough love, very physically imposing presence because he's played by Michael Cudlitz. Um,
Oh yeah.
but he's attracted to men, and he'll go to he'll go to gay bars. There's a couple, one or two like boyfriend characters you see that like he wakes up with,
Yep.
and you get the sense that he's not exactly the best boyfriend. He's not exactly great with commitment.
No, he's actually definitely like a I like you for like a good Vegas weekend thing. And the thing is, I'm attentive, I'm affectionate, but it's a Vegas weekend. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
well, but he's so the thing about Cooper though, he that's what I was saying at the beginning. He's a dick. He's not an asshole. He's a dick, and there's a difference. There's a big difference between being an asshole and a dick, and he's a dick when he needs to be because he's in the shit and he's been through shit, but he is such a protector of the streets. Remember that drag store that got hit, and there
oh
was that,
yeah,
and the way he was calm, nurturing, helping this either it was a transgender or a drag queen, but he was
yeah.
helping that person out to feel you're safe here. I'm here. Calmly breathe. I am here. There's no other cop here. I'm here. Like you could tell he
Mhm.
really cares about the innocent. He doesn't care about people. He just cares about the innocent. And there's a difference
Yeah.
in his mentality. I wish we got to meet who his TO was. I know we kind of did with that one episode with the cop who was suicidal, but I wanted
Yeah,
more.
the Gerald McRaney character.
I
Yeah.
wanted more because his world is shit. And honestly, you know the best depiction of this? It is the most blue collar job because when you look at all the cops in the show, except for obviously, Ben McKenzie, who is an attractive dude, they're all average looking guys. Like everyone in the show is average looking. And it's almost like this. Oh, this is blue collar. These are plumbers. Plumbers, very few plumbers are like, no, no, and this is not a diss on a plumber, but the average
Hmm.
plumber is not an attractive person. But they deal with shit on a daily basis. They have to move shit every day. And this is what
Yeah.
this show is. This show is
Or
showing you that these cops deal with shit
or if
every.
they're like unique, or if they are uniquely attractive, it's usually called out in the show. Like Sherman is
Oh yeah,
like he gets teased about it. It's like, Sheriff Beverly Hills. Do you grow up rich? Did you learn how to shoot at the BH gun club? Like, and
yeah.
then, or the Lucy Liu character that we saw in season four, like Lucy Liu is a fine looking woman, but like she is a fine looking woman in the context of the show as
And
well.
she gets harassed by everyone.
Yeah, which is why
Dewey,
she wants she wants to be with Cooper as a partner,
yeah.
as a
Well,
professional partner.
Dewey calls her Putang the whole season.
Yeah.
He calls her Putang like out loud in front of everyone. And remember the Badge Bunny who was all over Cooper. She even said, "Wow, you're cuter than most." Remember? Yeah, like no, like yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. That's why this show is the most. It's like the Pit. It's like ER. Mostly, I'd say more the Pit, just because of how grittier it is. This is a blue collar show that's true. This isn't all Hollywood up like Blue Bloods and even Law and Order. Ask any officer about Southland, they will tell you, yeah, that's the closest you're going to get.
Yeah,
The equivalent of Southland to the realism of being a patrol officer is the equivalent of Apocalypse Now and being a radio operator in the jungle.
it certainly reminds me of like the kind of wacky stuff they encounter. It reminds me of like the kind of stories that my grandfather would tell me about his time on the force. It's just, the stories that you would tell people. And sometimes I think like, wow, they just have way too many wacky encounters. But
Well,
it's
it's
like because
human.
the stories you would tell people are the weird ones.
Yeah.
Are the off-kilter ones where sometimes you resort to like unorthodox, not like off the book or abusive things, but just sort of like,
Problem
to
solving,
yeah,
troubleshooting.
problem solving. Again, it's like sometimes you don't
Yeah.
actually have to arrest anybody, or sometimes the call was not worth being given to you. It was
Yeah.
bullshit. Uh,
And no, there's actually a scene where that. Remember when there was a domestic dispute call and they thought the woman was getting abused, but it was the guy. And she's like, I threw a cat at him. So what? He was cheating on me. Sir, do you want to press charges? No, I don't. All right, bye. What? And he's like, and remember
there's nothing we can do.
Sherman's like this. We're done. He's like, yeah, they don't want to press calls. We get the fuck out, dude. Like in and out. Like there's no point in talking to these people.
You know what? Which call spoke to me personally was the one where it's they're shooting some sort of horror movie at a house,
Yeah,
and
I
they
knew
get
you
it,
would.
but the call was like, I think somebody's being murdered at that house, and they like scold the fuck out of those film students. Like, yeah, because they think like they should see like somebody do a stunt where they're falling
Yeah,
off like
and they get out their car and they pull their gun and they go in charging.
and they're like, "Do you have permits to shoot? Did you inform your neighbors?" Because when I was in film school, that was like a big thing. Like,
You have to do
you
work.
get your permits and you have to inform you, especially like if you're making a bunch of noise or like you probably should inform your neighbors that you're shooting. I actually wonder if that was like again ripped out of the headlines because this was something I heard about when I went to film school. This is like a cautionary tale, where some film students were shooting a scene in like a diner. They got like film permits, or I don't know if they got like permits or I think that was what it was. Like they didn't have like the proper permits and they didn't inform like the surrounding businesses or whatnot. Um, and they were shooting a scene that was like a hostage situation inside
Yeah,
a
yeah,
diner,
yeah.
and they didn't do their homework prior to that, and then the police were called. Um, they I oh yeah yeah they didn't get like the proper permissions to like use prop firearms because you have to there's like special paperwork for that, and it's like it's its own pain in the ass. And generally if you're like an undergrad film student, try not to use weapons in your movie, try not to
No,
write a
yeah.
script where there's weapons, like try to do something else.
Make a comedy.
But
Make a comedy.
they did not get their proper permissions, and like the police were called in, guns drawn. Thankfully nobody died, nobody got shot, but that's like a great way to get yourself killed.
Yeah.
That
No.
was,
For people who actually, for anyone listening, and you actually sit down to watch Southland, all the nonsense, all the calls that have no connection to the actual A plot of the show are real calls from actual officers. That call is based off a real one. It's actually based off one. I forget. I forget if it was it season three when Cooper had a new trainee, a new boot. That recently happened while they were filming season three, and they're like, "Ooh, I got an idea." Like that was a
Mhm.
recent thing. So yeah, it was ripped from the headlines. A lot. The most crazy one that was a true one. The season four one when he was partnered up with Officer Tang, when a guy came running out of a sex shop on fire. That's a real call that happened. That really happened. And when you go in and Dewey's like this, guy was just jerking off and he got really good and then boom, he set on fire. It's like, no, that happened. There was an actual case of spontaneous combustion with a dude in a sex shop in a booth jerking off and he just combusted. That's no joke. That's a real case.
Yeah. It's so yeah. I would say is it like it's there's an effort to try to make it hyper realistic.
Oh,
I mean,
I
I
would say this. This isn't like best line to describe it as, and I'm stealing from the network. Kojak does not catch the killer. This is not that. This is the show. This is not the show where it's like, oh yeah, Kojak will catch the killer at the end of the hour. Don't worry. Oh, Andy Griffith's show. You'll get a good lesson at the end, and they get to walk back to go fishing. This ain't that show. This is not that show. This is not. This is not Kojak. This is not the Andy Griffith show. This is not Columbo. This is not even SWAT. There's very rarely in this series a feel good ending.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, if you're, and now if you're asking, because you're like this type of inquisitive, if you're asking, like, is this propaganda? I mean, technically, yes, because I mean, the underlying philosophy of the show is still like police are a net good. To me, actually, the most annoying part of the show is like the intro bit where they're like, because each teaser, the opening scene is like,
Oh,
you know,
flashback.
yeah, or flash
Oh, flash
forward,
forward.
really.
Flash.
It
Oh, I
does the
love
thing
that
where it
shit.
like
I love
shows you a
that.
flash forward, but then like freeze frame, and then
Black
you
and
hear
white.
some narrator who's like not an actual character on the show saying like cops go through hard times. They have there's a lot of hard work that goes
Oh,
into being a cop. You
you're
should
missing one
respect
thing though,
them.
Travis. You're missing one of the greatest ones though. You're missing the main one though that narrator
That is the
says.
gist of what those are. Like what
True,
they
but remember
say.
what he says that one episode. I think it's season 3 when he has that real hard hitting one. Remember?
You'll have to refresh me.
We hold cops to a higher standard because we give them a badge and a gun. The only problem is we recruit them from the human race.
Yes,
That
yes.
one was awesome.
Yes, that is a very good line. That is a very good line. The one that I think of, for some reason I remember this one, saying like the average LAPD officer gets paid $75,000 a year. It's not enough, and I'm like, bitch, I wish I could get paid $75,000 a year with benefits. What the fuck are you talking about? But that's just me. So like if you're asking like is it propaganda? Yeah, it's good propaganda though. In the same way I would say that like, you know,
Generation Kill is good military again,
yeah, well I was gonna say Stargate is good like military propaganda, but
but
it's
still,
like
it's still good.
uh,
There's some get. I think people realize propaganda, unfortunately, is like communism. It's gotten a bad rap. There's like, no, Ganda can be good. You just need good people to do it.
yeah, it's just like, well, know what the
Texas.
know what the underlying ideology is and whatnot. Um, so yeah, so if if obviously if you're not into anything about cops, then this show probably isn't for you. But if you
And
want
also,
like,
too, if you don't like seeing stuff happen to kids, don't watch it too.
yeah, but if
By the way,
you,
you know what's crazy? Sorry, I know it's every bit. The first episode to show you how realistic they want, because I was reading some stuff behind the scenes. Remember the one of the multiple plots? I think the Lydia plot when she was hunting down that child kidnapping, and it led to like, oh, we got a predator, we got a diddler, we got to find like a child molester, and they
yeah,
found one guy with all that child pornography magazines. Remember that guy?
yep.
No, no, those are actually real magazines, apparently. Those are not mock-ups for the show. Those are legit like, oh no, we're going to show how crazy this world, like people, humans can be. So they found a bunch of like,
Oh
those are
my
real.
God.
Yeah, they went for it. They went for like hard reading. Like we want to make sure the audience realizes. I think the best way to say this show as good propaganda is those who live by the sword die by the sword. And
Hmm.
it's not to say like, oh, you chose to wear a gun, you deserve to die. It's like, no, it's just you chose to take an occupation where you have to have a gun on you at all times for 12 hours straight for 20 plus years. Those who live by the sword die by the sword. And that's this show.
Very very Christly quote there. Um, I will say, yeah, yeah. So, but if you like kind of street crime drama stuff with police officers as the protagonist, yeah, this is definitely your jam. It will go there at times. It is one of those shows that will go there. There's only 43 episodes. It did not it like it.
Got canceled
Uh,
too early.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's another thing. If you're okay with getting the final episode ending on a massive cliffhanger and character arcs reaching a climax and not getting their resolution because the show got canceled. If you're okay with that, check out the show. Um, now I'll get now. I want to. I guess we're kind of wrapping things
Yeah,
up.
we're
I want to
wrapping.
get. I
Yeah,
want to get to the biggest reason why I decided. All right, I'm gonna go watch the show all the way through. Besides your hard recommendations, which I do appreciate, and I think it was worth watching it. But the big reason why I wanted to watch the show all the way through was that maybe, just maybe, you can finally start watching Battlestar Galactica and return
on Paramount, right?
on Paramount. Yeah. In fact, I'll offer you on the show. I'll offer you
A free burrito?
a promise in return. If you can get through at least the first season of Battlestar, I will finally start reading Berserk because I just bought. I was at a used bookstore recently, and I
And you
found
buy?
a Volume 1 Tankobon of Berserk, and I'm like, I have it.
Can I
But
tell you something funny about
I'm not
that?
gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it until I'm not gonna start reading it until
Can I tell you something funny
fulfill
though,
your
by the way?
end.
Can I tell you something
Uh-huh.
funny about it? When you showed me that picture of like, I got it, I was like this. Oh, you chose the more expensive route. It actually ends up being like $200+ more.
Oh yeah. No, I understand.
That's why I laughed so
I
hard.
bought myself. Look, I was in the neighborhood and I just found it on the shelf and I'm like, okay, I got a sample.
You
You
got a little
know,
taste, a little
it's
taste.
a yeah. I got a little taste, and if I'm into it, maybe I'll if I can find him, I'll buy the bigger books. It's not like I wasn't looking for the bigger books.
Well,
It's
the
just
problem with
that
the bigger books is there's only like really two places to find them now, and it's like it's Amazon or Barnes and Noble. And Amazon, it just sucks. Amazon's cheaper. It's like cheaper by $10 sometimes.
are they at least reliably in stock on Amazon?
Yeah, all the time. You could buy all 14 right now for 400
Yeah.
bucks.
Because right now my oh nice. Because right now my struggle with Amazon and comics is like the Marvel Epic collections.
Yep. Hmm.
I'm trying to read because I'm trying to read like classic Spider-Man, classic Fantastic Four, and those things go out of print
So
like
quick.
all the fucking time. And I thought it was just like, oh, maybe I waited too long to get into these, and then I stumbled onto like a YouTube video talking about like comics, and someone like just off to the side in that video like made a complaint about that, like, oh, I could read these, except they're out of print, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's not just me.
You know what?
It's
Hey,
fucking it's a Marvel problem.
I got a good one. I'm gonna watch the whole series, and when I do, that's when you have to watch 1997 Berserk straight through.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, no, I can no, that sounds good to me. I can do that.
Before we wrap up, though, I want to know because I watched this show. This show is my number one favorite show. That's why I've been pushing it hard for you for about 10 years. And the
Mhm.
reason why I also love it is shout out to my mom. We watched it all together. Every episode brand new when it came out from NBC to TNT. And that cliffhanger at the end, we were emotional and everything. And then we found out it got canceled, emotional and everything. And mom and I went through a roller coaster.
Yeah, I can see that. Having watched the final episode, I'm like, oh fuck.
I never watched an episode without my mom. I waited for her all the time. That's how personal this show is.
Oh,
I love this show. I think about this though, Travis. This is a show for me and my mom.
hey, I hear you. You know,
But what is your favorite episode out of all 43?
you know the one that I think sticks out, the one that sticks out to mine, and I think it's just because all the other ones with the vignette style of the
Hmm.
storytelling, they kind of blend together. But and I think this one just kind of sticks out to me. It's the penultimate episode. Is season 5, episode 9, entitled "Chaos."
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
that
which
was
is
crazy.
aka the Crack House episode, which I looked up. It was inspired by an actual incident that happened in the '60s. Um, and that one you put that, I'll just say this. You put that episode in a double feature with the like meth head family episode of Breaking Bad, where like Jesse gets like fucking held hostage by the meth head family that he's trying to get money from because they're not paying. Put that in a double feature of those two, show them to your kids. your kids won't do drugs.
Yeah.
That like
It's a horror movie. It's a horror show. It's a horror episode. It's straight up horror.
there is something horrific about seeing like a meth like a crack house in that's like more horrifying than like overdose learning about fatal overdoses or like drunk diving accidents or even seeing like smokers with like a stoma in their neck. Seeing like the image of like a crack house that's like filthy, like you can practically credit
Taste
to
it.
the production designers on Southland as well as for the Breaking Bad episode. You can practically smell the house through the television. You think it smells like poop mixed with something else, and everything is a mess, and all the people that live there are like the most impulsive, irrational people you have ever run into. It's like where it's like dealing with the people, like the characters in Idiocracy, but on like crack, where they can't form good judgmental decisions. They cannot be reliable for anything. You know, your only hope is to just stave them off long enough and get out.
Yep.
You know, like you don't even not even like arrest them, just like get out and run as far away as you can. The escape scene in the end, like
That was
you
intense, right?
feel
Hey,
that. You feel
hey,
that like he's just like find civilization, find a person with a phone. Anyone will do. Just like you need a witness. But like seeing like crack houses in fiction to me like did more to like reaffirm that I will not do drugs because I'm like I don't want to be like that. I don't want that to be my future. Um, it's just
yeah, no, yeah,
they give me the heebie-jeebies, you know.
nice.
Yeah, I would say that's my favorite because I found that to be like the most stressful and traumatizing out of the all the episodes, which is saying a lot.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
what's your favorite episode?
I call I don't I forget the actual title of it, but I like to refer to it as the Megan's Law episode, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, that sounds.
It's the I'm Spartacus moment at the end.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, that
So
one
the
also.
this is during season 4 where Cooper is teamed up with Tang, and they get a call about a person who got assaulted by his neighbors. And they pick him up, and he's got all this writing on him, and they have him in the back, and they're taking him back to his apartment complex because they're going to find out what's going on. And then Cooper looks through the rearview mirror, looks at what the guy has written on him in permanent black ink, and it says child rapist on it, child molester. And he's like, "This is that true? I just want to know, is that true?" And he's like, "Look, I did my time. I did all my years. I did my time. I'm clean. I'm trying to live a new life. All right." He's like,
Yeah,
"All right."
he's on the sex offender
And he's like,
registry.
and then Cooper's like this, okay, like he leaves it at that, and then he talks to neighbors, and the neighbors are just pissed. He's like this, look, we just don't want him here. It's like I know, but he did his time. What do you want me to do? And the neighbors are pissed, like, no, we got kids here, we got families here, especially in this unit, not alone this community. We want this child molester out, sir. I understand that. I understand your concern. I get you, but he did his time. He was let out. He served his time. He's on the registry. If he sticks to his place, you can't bother him. I can't bother you. I don't want to come back down here. And then each call gets progressively worse and worse until the end. At the end of the last 3 minutes, there's a call, and then Cooper's like this. God damn it, this motherfucker again! And he turns the car, whips it, floors it because he knows I know who did it. I know who messed with this pedophile's house. I don't like pedophiles either, but god damn it, I told
Yeah,
this citizen to back off. He gets out. The whole apartment unit's on fire. The apartment unit that this pedophile rented out
yeah,
is on fire, and you can hear the guy screaming in it. You can hear it really quick, and then it dies. And you see
yeah.
all the tenants out on the street, standing out,
It's
watching it
like,
like a
yeah,
bonfire. And then what does Cooper go? Cooper has his hand on his gun, and says, "Where is he? Where is he? Who did this? I want to know now. God damn, who did this?" And what happens? I did it. And Cooper turns around and looks at this just old
no,
black.
I did it.
No, I did
No,
it. Yeah,
I did
I
it.
did. And then Cooper and Tang just let their hands go to the side. They don't touch their guns. They're so defeated. They turn. The crowd surrounds them, but it's not hostile. The crowd's not going to kill
Yeah,
these
they're
cops.
not thrown down.
They
No.
just surround them in the most ominous, like, "It was me. No, it was me. Yeah, me. Yeah, I did it. No, I did it. No, I didn't. Yeah, and I did it too. Yeah, it was me. I did, and they just, and that's how it ends. And I'm like, that was so powerful because it just shows you cannot fuck with the community. Like
I you know what I thought watching that episode is like, oh, this is the prequel to A Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's what happens to Freddy
yeah,
Krueger.
yeah.
He is a, well, in the old movies, it's implied he's a pedophile. In the remake, they're a lot more upfront about that. But he
Yeah.
murdered children, and for some reason, the cops couldn't nab him on it, so the neighbors took matters into their own hands.
Hmm.
And I'm like, all right, get ready 10 years from now when he comes to your teenager's dreams.
I I like that episode so much because it really just shows you do not want the community to handle this. You want a
No.
good justice system. You want professional cops. Professional. I said professional, not good. You want professional cops doing the job, and you don't want it to end up where the community at large or the locals. You do basically you don't want frontier justice on the streets because that will happen. That is such a real thing that will
Yeah.
happen, and it will get dangerous. And it's aged well. That episode is aged very scary and well.
And it's a challenge as the viewer because it's like, okay, he did his time, and like the guy, the credit to the actor who played him because he's like in despair. He's like, you kind of want to believe that he has reformed, that he's like, okay, I don't do that anymore. I made, that was a terrible mistake, and I'm trying to move past that with my life. I'm trying to be a better person now. I've done my time. I moved on. There's one bit where he says, it's like, I like I have to do like crazy routes to make sure that I don't drive within a certain distance of a school or a
Yeah,
playground
because it's
to get to
L.A.
work.
Because it's
Yeah,
L.A.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like urban LA, and it's like, oh fuck. And there's like a sense where it's like you kind of feel bad for him because like he would have to do that. There's no forgiveness, that there's no institutional forgiveness because he's on that sex offender registry forever. And that restraining order that he has on him is like, that's like forever.
yeah,
And like he's like, yeah, he's done his time, he's done his rehabilitation, but he will never have a normal life again because there's no, like, the only forgiveness he might be able to find is from God, but not from
man,
the
not from
from
man.
not from the man. And for me, I'm like, I like to believe in like rehabilitative justice, and so I seeing that, it's like, at a certain point, I see that and think like, I don't have a definite answer to pontificate on, but it's like, is that, if you've done your time, is that really fair to be on the sex offender list forever? And I haven't come to an answer on that. And that's one of the reasons why I found that episode to be very challenging. And then yeah, he dies and he gets murdered in the end. He didn't even really do anything. That's the thing. Well, not in the
Episode.
there was no crime that was being there's no present crime that was being addressed where he was the perpetrator. He was just living there, and they just lynched his ass.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like things. It's a conversational thing. That episode. It's like, how do we do this better in the justice system? What is the actual punishment? How do we handle it? And then how do we handle the public? Because
and and the
Here's the thing.
yeah,
I'll say this. He got lynched, right? Oh, I was a pedophile. I'm going to say it specifically because there's a reason. It was a white pedophile who got lynched. Ugly looking dude. Really,
no.
just got lynched, right?
Hmm.
And he did a sex crime. Yes, it was kids, but it was a sex crime. It was about sex crimes and Megan's Law.
Yes.
How many famous fucking pedophiles and famous rapists are there out there right now making buku bucks? And hey, and people love them. I'll give you the
Yep.
best hint of all. How packed was that arena for Mike Tyson's debut back? Yeah, no, it's a real question.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. That's perfectly fair.
that's why I
Uh,
love that episode, man. Um,
I you know what I also loved about that episode? The way it ended. We had the Spartacus moment, and then you're there. It just ends with them looking at the house, and then this is pretty normal stuff for Southland. It never comes up again in any subsequent episode. It's like new day, moving on.
Yep.
That's like, and that's like something that is kind of like you don't see a lot in like TV anymore. That sense of like
Episodicness. Like
that
it move on.
where yeah, where especially like and I think that's makes the ending, and there's a lot of episodes that end like that, but it makes that ending more haunting because like that's the last you hear of that story.
Yeah, but Cooper's right.
Yeah,
Because
maybe
it's 20 years of days.
theoretically, yeah, yeah. And maybe like theoretically, like there'll be a further investigation and maybe somebody will get prosecuted for that, but you don't see that. That though you're not following those whoever's involved with that, you're not following those people, you're following these people.
Yep, that's why
And
it's a very lasting episode. Um, that's why I recommend the show to everyone. I think I'm not gonna lie, you need a strong stomach, a strong mental set. Like this isn't jolly all. Hey, this is gritty. It's as real as it can get. Cops stand by this. A lot of cops, a lot of officers of the law say that's the closest you're gonna get. It's like veterans talking about Saving Private Ryan. That's the closest you're gonna get.
yeah. And good. One last note. I've talked about like the handheld cinematography. It's
That's
like
so
good
good.
handheld.
Oh God, yeah.
There was a lot of like crappy shaky cam. Like that was like the decade of shaky cam.
Yes.
And a lot of filmmakers, even to this day, use it as a way to disguise the fact that they do not know how to choreograph fight scenes.
Yep. It's a
So they
clutch.
do that along with excessive coverage and excessive editing. Whereas this show, when there's like a throwdown happening, you see they actually give the camera kind of a wide berth. It's still handheld, it's still held by a
Yeah.
person, but you see what's happening. Beautifully done. Probably because some of the ER crew worked on that,
Of course. Yeah.
and the ER crew was very, very disciplined in knowing how to like get everything in as few shots as possible. Well made
Oh yeah.
production.
And the only thing I want to say to you as a fun behind the scenes little thing to make you go, "Oh damn." Did you notice anything different about Officer Cooper's sidearm compared to everyone else's?
No, I
The
didn't.
standard issue for most officers is a 9 millimeter, correct?
Yeah.
You know what Officer Cooper was rocking?
What
A
was he
10
carrying?
millimeter. A 10 millimeter. That just
Hmm.
showed you Cooper did not fuck around. He's carrying a 10. I like that little.
Did they want to give him like to give that actor a bigger gun to hold?
No, it's a choice. You can have some. No, no,
Okay.
it's a real choice officers have sometimes. You can choose a 357 Magnum. There are still officers out there to this day who have a
Yeah.
357 on their side. My uncle, when he was a cop, he had a 357 on his side.
Hmm.
But that
Yep.
was to show you more how serious Cooper is about his job. He has a fucking 10, a 10 round 10 millimeter. That's a freaking. He was there to put. He was not afraid to put people on the ground, dude. I recommend the
Okay.
show. Where can people find it, Travis? Because it's changed a lot for me. I think it's still on.
At time of recording, it's still on Netflix.
I think Tubi
Um,
still has it, right, or no?
I don't know. I don't know
Okay,
what's on Tubi. As far as I'm concerned, everything is on Tubi.
check it out, people. It's worth it, and let us know your favorite show too, as well. You know us. Give us the launch codes. We're on all the social medias, even Grinder.
Yes,
Anything else, man? Yeah,
thank you for being here. Sorry we only did two this week, or only did one this week for like new stuff.
we got
And
lives.
yeah, it's a busy
We got
Saturday.
lives.
We can only do the one, but
Don't worry.
got
There's
you a light one this week.
fun stuff next week if you watch the news.
Probably fun stuff. We don't even know what that stuff is. Um, anyway, thank you.
I'm Tom.
I'm Travis.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Bye, everyone.
UC Davis got nothing on me, baby. I love Dewey. I had to say a Dewey quote. All right, bye.